Booktok recommendations have led me astray so many times that it's just created this toxic relationship where I don't really trust Booktok recommendations at this point, but I'm gonna give Booktok one more chance because this book has been all over my TikTok For You page. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone on Booktok has already read it. Like, everyone and their mother has already read it. So of course it was recommended to me a bunch and I bought it, but then I just let it sit on my shelf for a little bit because I really didn't know if it was going to live up to the expectations, if it was going to live up to the hype, because the majority of books that I see on Booktok never really live up to the hype. And it's always the books that I really love are the ones that no one ever talks about. The thing was, everything changed whenever I posted a book that I finished on my story and then my friend slid up and she was like, you need to read this book. And I don't trust Booktok, but I trust her, so that's why I'm filming today's video. Today's going to be a read-along vlog, and it's going to be full of spoilers. I decided that I was going to do a spoiler vlog because literally everyone and their mother has read this book already. The sequel's already out. The third one's coming out. I think the author released it for pre-order. This book that I'm going to give one more chance to Booktok for is none other than Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. My friend slid up on my Instagram story. She said, you need to read this book. I already had it on my shelf and I had just finished a book, or I was like in the last 50 pages of a book whenever she slid up and told me this, so I needed to pick a next read. And so I saw this on my shelf and I was like, okay, we're gonna do it. I started it yesterday. I'm about 50-ish pages in, chapter 5, but I figured that I'd do a reading vlog because I'm going to annotate it. I've started annotating it, if you can see my little tabs. According to my friend, this is everything that I want in a book. It's like plot twists, good romance. I love a good, like, high fantasy, complicated book. And from what I've gotten so far, I absolutely love this book. Like, this book is right up my alley, and I'm only on chapter 5. Over 500 pages, but the thing is the font is also so small and takes up the entire page, so it's going to take me a while to read this book. Also, very convenient for me, the book that I finished right before this, Violet Made of Thorns, this was a 1-star for me. I did not like this book, even though it was fantasy, romantasy, so it had like a little romance side plot. Thought I'd love this book. Absolutely did not. But it's convenient because the main character in this one is Violet, and then the main character in this one is also Violet. So I don't even have to like change the name of the main character in my head. So we are coming off of a 1-star read. We're starting this book. Hopefully this is a 5-star. I've been reading a lot of really good books recently. I read Ignite Me, I gave that 5 stars, and then I read Blood and Honey, which is the second in the Serpent and Dove trilogy. I gave that 5 stars. Pretty high expectations for this, but so far it's delivering. So I'm going to vlog, I'm going to update you guys whenever I find something very interesting. I'm going to show you guys how I annotate, and we're going to get into the vlog. Just to get started and show you guys where I am on chapter 5, and I've already annotated a bunch. These are my little annotation tabs. I also like highlighting specific quotes. Also, look at this bookmark where you can like, it's a little bookshelf and then you can record every single book that you've read. You can see all the books I've read and then all the ratings. You can see that I got 2 5 stars and then a 1 star. I'm going to talk about these books on my May, all the books that I read in May video. I read More Than Words, Magnolia Parks, I had to DNF. I don't understand why that book is so popular. Again, why I don't trust Booktok. Heartless, Ignite Me, loved. Blood and Honey, loved. Violet Made of Thorns, we're not going to talk about it. Now we're on to Fourth Wing. I'll talk about those books more in depth on my every book I read in May video. So if you guys are interested in my thoughts, go watch that video. I like to put my little guide to my annotation tabs on the dedication page. So that's what I have right now going on. You can see. So I have important scenes, and then dark pink is plot twists, light orange is Violet and Zayden. I just realized I don't know actually how to pronounce that name. I'll Google it. And then quotes. So I love the way that she has created such a detailed world, but the way that she's slowly introducing us to details. I've gotten the idea that there's a war going on. Violet's mom's the general, so she's having Violet join the Riders Quadrant, even though she wanted to be a script. They have those details in about the separatists, about the rebels, talking about Zayden. I'm gonna keep calling him Zayden. He's a separatist kid. Her sister told her to go find Dane, her childhood best friend, to protect her. I've already met Dane. I already love Dane, but I know that Dane is not going to be her romantic interest But so far, I really love him, but I can tell, if you've read so many books, you can tell that the first man that you meet is almost never the actual love interest. Also, I fell for something that I really feel like I shouldn't have fallen for. The first two people that she meets is Rhiannon and Dylan. I should have known that a guy named Dylan is not going to survive in this book, but I highlighted it because I was like, oh, these are going to be her two best friends in the book, right? And then I got this cute little detail about Dylan. He's got a ring around his neck and he's got a fiance and he's gonna go home to his fiance and then immediately dies. And I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. And I fully went for when Dylan died. You know, I should have known because he was a man that was planning to stay loyal to his girlfriend or fiance for 3 years without seeing her. I should have known that was too good to be true. Dragons can be real in this book, but that's not real. And I'm getting confused because right here on page 16, this is the only quadrant in Bathgate that doesn't accept conscripts, only volunteers. But then the page before it, all the children of the leaders were conscripted as punishment for their crimes. And all the children of the leaders of the rebellion, they were put in the riders' quadrant and they were conscripted there. But then it also says that for the riders, there are no conscriptions, only volunteers. Rhiannon's talking about her sister and she goes, besides, they have my twin to dote on, Rhaegon, straight out of Game of Thrones, is already living her dream, married and expecting a baby. That's her twin, so that's her same age as this girl who's going into the riders camp. And then later it says, plus I've heard riders are allowed to marry sooner than other quadrants. So they have a rule of when you're allowed to get married, and you can't get married in the riders quadrant until after graduation, and that's early relatively to the other camps. So how is Rhiannon's twin, who's the same age, that's how twins work, how is she the same age and then engaged with a baby? No, married with a baby. How is that? Maybe her twin wasn't conscripted? I don't know. Comment if anyone else is confused by this detail or if I'm just overanalyzing. I loved the detail of Violet giving Rhiannon one of her boots to help her on the parapet. And then I just highlighted, Dylan is dead. See, and then I got to the part where Dane tried to protect Violet and put him in his squad. So it's 3 squads in each section and 3 sections in each of the 4 wings. So then Dane tried to grab Violet and her friend Rhiannon and try to protect her, and then the captain says, Dane, you and your squad will switch with another one. So then they are moved into the 4th wing, which is Xaden's wing. So he basically did that because he wants her dead. Also, I added this, don't borrow tomorrow's trouble. I thought that quote was cute. So that's essentially where I am. We're beginning chapter 5 and we're starting with the first class. Now we're gonna get started.
I've been around, but I can't get you out of my head. Try to stray, try to forget, but the thoughts they seem to.
Okay, I've just gotten to chapter 9. So far it's really interesting to read about how she's winning all of her combat training battles. The last chapters has just been talking about her training in hand-to-hand combat, and she's kind of cheating, sort of, because she's poisoning all of her opponents so that they physically cannot fight back. And she's won 5 of them so far, and every time she gets to steal a knife from the people that she beats in combat, and I think that's really cool. She's beaten 5 of them so far. She poisoned one girl too early, so she was fully disqualified for the day. So then she was like, oh, okay, so I'm done for the day, and then someone steps up and they're like, oh, I'm happy to step in, and it's Xaden. Also, I liked the thing. I'm already seeing how the author is trying to present the 2 different love interests. Dane is just interested in protecting her because he sees her as fragile, and he's not recognizing the fact that she is surviving this whole thing, and she's made it a good amount of time, and that whole time he's not recognizing any of that. Meanwhile, Xaden, the only time that they've interacted was the one time that she threw the knives at him, and then he said to do that to Jack, and then when she did, he was standing in the corner and gave her a smile, sort of. So Xaden doesn't know her yet, but he at least recognizes her strength and her determination. Meanwhile, Dane has this old image of Violet in his head, and he won't let that go, even though she's mature and she's growing and she's surviving. He's not recognizing any of that. So obviously I think that's how the author's gonna be like, see, and that's why she should be with Xaden and not Dane, because Dane isn't going to help her grow, and your partner needs to help you grow. So now I'm going to read Xaden kick Violet's butt. Also, I have a theory. I'm on page 110 right now, but I already have a theory about how this is gonna end. Xaden is the kid of one of the rebellion leaders, or I think the leader of the rebellion. He's their kid. They have meetings, all the rebellion kids, they have meetings, and she overheard one of the meetings, and in the meeting he said that no one else is allowed to kill her. I'm gonna kill Violet. I don't think he's actually gonna kill Violet. I think the reason he said that is because he's trying to protect her. I think he's trying to like make sure that no one else kills her. He's protecting her because he wants to flip her, and I think he is secretly still allied to the rebellion, and I think he's gonna try to like kidnap her and like convince her to like go to the rebellion side. That's my theory. I think that he doesn't actually want to kill her. I think he's only like making that big show so that no one else is gonna like try to kill Violet, and I think he's gonna try to flip her. I don't know if it's a rebellion so much as a war. But chapter 9, they're about to fight. Good luck.
I've always wondered what it takes to fill this empty void inside.
Xaden and Dane do not like each other.
What I needed this whole time. I've been around. No one else has got me feeling this way. Every minute, every hour I spend is on you every single day. I've always wondered what it takes to feel.
Oh my god, I think he just gave her a nickname. He says, going for blood today, are we violence? If that's like the nickname that he calls her throughout the rest of the series, that would be so cute. In real life, that's a terrible pet name, but like in this world, I think that's a cute pet name. Yeah, so then she says, my name is Violet. I think my version fits you better. I'm calling it now. That's gonna be her nickname. See, she keeps throwing her daggers, then he like kicks it off the mat, so I'm scared that like she's gonna use all of them and then he's gonna be like, okay, they're mine now, like you don't have them. And like, she just earned all of them, and if she loses all of them, I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be sad about imaginary knives that don't actually exist. See, now she only has 5 left, she had 9. Oh, he knows what she's doing. He says taking out your enemy before the battle is really smart. I'll give you that. He knows what she's been doing. Okay, I just finished the chapter. He didn't hurt her or kick her butt, but he was really just trying to teach her stuff. And I found the line that like perfectly summarizes what I was trying to say earlier. She could use a little less protection, a little more instruction. Xaden stares Dane down until he nods. So that's, I think that line really explains the little love triangle that's happening, and I think that's why Violet, I think, is gonna end up with Xaden and not Dane. I loved that whole chapter, that whole fight scene. Can you tell I really liked this chapter? I love Xaden so far, and I love their chemistry. I love Xaden's character so far. He is so enigmatic, and then I love the chemistry between Xaden and Violet. And then again, she's talking about how he had so many chances to kill her, and then he won't. So why is he not killing her when he says that he wants to? Because my theory, I don't think he wants her dead. I think he's trying to flip her like a spy. That's my theory.
We're about 20 pages later, and I called it. It's her nickname.
Okay, it's 2 days later. I've gotten a good bit into the book. I'm on page 346. A lot has happened, so I'm just gonna go through my tabs and update you guys on what's happened so far and what I think about it. Okay, so the scene where the threshing, where all the characters, they got their dragons. Violet got 2. Okay, so then Violet gets attacked by the 7 unbonded cadets because they're trying to kill her to steal her dragon. She sees someone that she recognizes who's a wing leader, and she sees the authority figure and she sees their face, but for some reason she won't say it to the reader itself. She just says like, I know that person, and then everyone's like asking her, she's like, no, I can't tell. So I think the author was trying to like draw it out, but I made a prediction and I was right. Amber and I wrote, called it, but they did that little special contest where all the different squadrons, they had to like steal something that the enemy needed, and they stole the map from her mom's office, so they won that. And before that, Xaden and Violet kissed for the first time, and Xaden's like, absolutely not, never again. And she's like, lame, but okay. So then they win that contest, they get sent to the front line, she gets reunited with her sister Mira, and then where I'm at chapter 28, so they're just now escaping the front lines because apparently griffins are attacking them. And so then whenever Violet was being forced to leave, she didn't want to leave her sister, and then Xaden kissed her again after he said that he wasn't going to anymore. Also, the entire scene with Dane, Xaden, and Violet was so funny because Xaden just kept doing things to Violet to make Dane angry, and Dane being jealous is really funny because he's completely lost my favor in this book. Like, I really liked him in the beginning and I wasn't so much on Xaden, but I really see the character dynamic now. I see where Dane babies her and doesn't believe in her, and how Xaden is so much of a better partner because he actually sees the potential in Violet from their very first interaction. He saw the potential. He saw the potential in her first few weeks, and Dane has known her for years and he never believes in her. So now I understand where the author was taking that. Xaden and Violet's dynamic is very interesting and a lot better than her and Dane. I'm on page 347 now, and I'm gonna keep on reading. Okay, Violet just got her power, so she can control lightning. It's interesting because I think Violet, her character is very much inspired by Mare from the Red Queen series. First was her hair, because her hair isn't normal. It's brown and then it fades into silver at the ends, which is the exact description of Mare from Red Queen, and she has Mare's exact power. So I don't know if anyone else has noticed that. I'm gonna make one last guess about this book in the next 40 pages. I think that Brennan, her brother, isn't actually dead, and I think that he joined the rebellion. I think that the rebels didn't actually kill him and that he actually joined them because he found out the secret that Xaden knows. And if it is, then that's another thing that is suspiciously similar to the Red Queen series, because in the Red Queen series, the main character Mare, her brother that she thought was dead, comes back to life, or not comes back to life, but it's revealed that he never actually died in the last chapter of the book. So I'm gonna make that prediction. My other two were correct. See, because I guessed that Amber was the wing leader who tried to kill Violet, and I was right about that. And then I also guessed that Xaden wasn't loyal to Navarre, or whatever the kingdom's name is. I guessed that he wasn't loyal to that, and I got that right. So I'm gonna make the guess that Brennan is still alive, and if I'm wrong, this is gonna be really funny to edit. Reading Xaden's POV, I understand that he's saying he's in love with her, and I understand like the way he's like completely, like, I don't want to say overreacting because she is the main character, but the way that he like usually doesn't show emotion, he's showing so much worry and concern, and he's scared that she's gonna die. I understand that, but I still don't really believe in their romance that much. Oh, I so called it. I so called it. Oh my god, and that's a callback to when Violet was poisoning all of the people that she had to like go up against, and Xaden said, he's like, I know better poison masters. He was referencing Brennan. Xaden knew Brennan before he even met Violet. Yeah, Brennan grins and opens his arms. Welcome to the revolution, Violet. I just finished Fourth Wing, and these are my final thoughts. All in all, I really enjoyed this book, but what I will say is the last 200 pages are very different than the first 300 pages. What I liked about the first half of the book is the pacing and the action and the high stakes. I loved following Violet as she kept like outsmarting all of her circumstances, and I found her interesting, I found the school interesting, the world building, the side characters, even the ones that were only in there for a little bit, they felt very vivid and very real, like I thought these were real people. And then I think what the problem is for the last 200 pages is the author kind of forgot about this whole complex, interesting, intriguing world she built, and she just kind of focused on Violet and Xaden's romance, and it went from like YA action-packed plot twist kind of thing to just this like angsty weird romance. I think the part that really like fell off for me was after Amber was executed slash after they found out that their dragons were mated, because that was such a cool concept. Because, you know, the thing that they have right here is, right, a dragon without its rider is a tragedy, a rider without their dragon is dead. So they very much tie the life expectancy and the quality of life of a human being rider to their dragon. So Xaden obviously wants to kill Violet because of their opposing political issues and because her mom killed his dad. So obviously he wants to kill her initially. Obviously he has to change directions whenever he finds out that her new dragon is the mate of his dragon, because she dies, Tauren dies, Sagal dies. I don't really know how to say that dragon's name, but whatever her name is. She dies, her dragon dies, his dragon dies, he dies. So they're connected in this little weird family tree. So obviously it's no longer in his best interest to kill Violet. That was a great premise, but the direction she took it was weird. I liked Liam, but I didn't like Liam being like a weird possessive bodyguard of Violet. It was very much giving Dane energy of like, you need someone to protect you because you can't protect yourself, but obviously she is protecting herself because everyone else is dying and failing out of the school and she's not, and she's overcoming every single circumstance. And no one ever gives her credit except for her best friend. Rhiannon is the only one that actually gives Violet credit. There's actually a scene where Rhiannon is telling Violet, like, you are the best writer of our generation. And she's the only one that's actually seeing everything that Violet is doing, and like, it feels like, I'm like, am I crazy? Why is no one ever giving Violet any credit for what she does? I don't like the direction that the author took their romance in. I thought it was a great setup. I don't like the way that Xaden talks to Violet. I don't like the way he treats her. You know, she wrote great chemistry between the characters, but then instead of Xaden just like being a man and like admitting his feelings, he only admits that he's physically attracted to Violet, and then they pursue only a physical relationship, which is just weird whenever the romantic element is so obvious. And then Violet just kind of accepts it instead of setting like a better standard for herself. She just kind of accepts whatever he's willing to give her, and then it makes her look kind of desperate, and then she's saying like, I love you, even though he's making it very clear that he doesn't care about her. It's clear that he cares about her, but he won't say it, which is the stupid thing. Like, it's one thing to just not care about someone, but he clearly cares about her, but he just won't be a man and say it. Like, it's just like that tiny final step, and he won't do it, which made me not like Xaden as a character anymore. So last like 100 pages, I stopped liking Xaden. Violet was weirding me out. Every single scene they were together, and it was just about them, and we completely forgot about the other characters, and we forgot about the real plot. We completely forgot about all that. We were just focusing on the romance. I didn't like the romance, so that's why I didn't like the last 200 pages. And the last thing is they get sent on this assignment to go to this certain place. Xaden gets caught meeting up with the rebels. Violet's obviously upset because she's like, why are you helping the rebels? Something gets explained that it's that he's helping them for a reason, and that her mother and the people in charge, they're not as good as Violet is led to believe. She starts questioning her entire world. They get attacked. Liam's dragon dies, then Liam dies. Super sad. We switch to Xaden's POV, and then he starts talking about, oh, I do care about her, I do love her, because Violet is hurt, and then he doesn't want her to die. And I'm reading all of this, and I don't really believe him, because he just kind of lost my respect / interest as a character. And then the final plot twist of the book I did 100% call, because I did say that I think that Brennan is still alive, because he is so prevalent throughout the narrative. There's so many callbacks to Brennan, even like things that he says, and I feel like the author wouldn't bring that up so much if he was just meant to like haunt the narrative. I think she was hyping us up to introduce him as a new character. He was too prevalent throughout the entire book. I feel like she threw him in too much, so then I started to catch on to that. And so then there was like the final plot twist of Violet wakes up and Xaden's like, oh, we have a surprise for you. And then her like dead brother walks in and he's like, Violet, welcome to the rebellion. That would have been really cool if I didn't see it coming. Hi, Sebastian. He's purring. Oh, what do you want? Oh, okay. All of that being said, the only downside of this book was the romance, which is sad because it was hyped up to be a really good romance, so I was let down on that aspect. Other than that, if the romance just worked out differently, I really think I would have loved this book even more. Thinking all of that through, I'm definitely going to read the second book, and I think my final rating on this one is going to be 4 out of 5 stars. It would have been a 5-star, it just the romance was better. But I don't know, I went from really liking Xaden to just like, I don't like the things that he said, I don't like the way he treated Violet, and then I can really hold a grudge. So I have to read the second book and see if he redeems himself. I don't know, but I wish that she handled the romance differently, and I would have liked this book so much more. I will say I'm really glad that I did read this book. I really thought that it was an interesting world all in all. I do see why this book has such hype, and I think it deserves the hype. I think it deserves its popularity. I think this was a good recommendation from Booktok. So yeah, 4 to 5 stars. I did enjoy the experience. So those are my thoughts on Fourth Wing. Alright, that's all I have to say in this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys when I see you.